Hey everyone, Bill Sheridan with the Maryland Association of CPAs. At Deloitte, more than half of the board of directors is made up of either women or people of color. And they got to that position not because they're women or people of color, but because they're the best choices for the position. See, Deloitte has created an environment where all people can succeed, where everyone has an opportunity to flourish. That's called inclusion. And according to Deborah DeHaas, that should be the goal of every organization out there, CPA firms included. It sounds like common sense, but a lot of organizations are still struggling to get there. Deborah is Deloitte's Chief Inclusion Officer, and she keynoted the 2014 Winning is Everything conference in Las Vegas recently with a compelling look at why inclusion is such an important and worthy goal. She and I had a conversation after her keynote address. Here's what she had to say.
Why is this inclusion discussion so important for the profession going forward?
Yeah, I think this inclusion discussion is really important, primarily because of the changing force of the talent. And if you look at the changing demographics of those who are just entering college and entering into the profession, it's very different than it was certainly when I started my career 30 years ago. And so the talent pool is much more diverse, many more women, many more underrepresented minorities. If you look in the more traditional leadership roles, they don't see people who look like themselves in those roles. And so I think to attract the top talent, we really need to create environments of inclusion throughout the profession so that we're going to have the best people going forward.
Mm-hmm. So what, if you can boil down a little bit about what you talked about this morning and tell me, what are the keys in your mind to building an inclusive workplace?
Yeah. I think there's 3 or 4 things that are really critical to building an inclusive workforce. First, I think inclusion really has to be important in the organization. At my firm, Deloitte, it's one of our core values. Strength through diversity is something that we know is a core value, and it's something that we talk about as being important. Values then, I think, really lead to culture, which is the second important place. And cultural is all about an environment where people really feel it's inclusive, where they feel they're valued for who they are as an individual and what they can bring to the organization. And then I think the last thing is all about leadership, and it needs to be leadership at the very top of the organization, and I think it needs to be then cascaded down through the organization, and so that the people who are working day to day in the office, the clients, are really going to feel that commitment to diversity, inclusion, creating an environment where every individual can be successful.
So what's the first step? How do firms get started down this road? I mean, what kind of questions should they be asking? What kind of things should they be doing?
Yeah, I think one place to start is just to do an assessment of their own environment. Look at the demographics of their workplace, generationally, gender, race, ethnicity. Understand the current talent pool. Understand where they think they need to be. Where do they have challenges today? Are they losing people? Do they have a gap in leadership, particularly of younger leaders? I then think it really gets down to having people at the top of the organization say, you know what, this is something that's important. This is something I'm going to champion. It's going to be one of our critical initiatives. And then I think you can start small, and part of it is just letting people know that it is important. We want an environment where all of our people can be successful. You might look at where you're recruiting, and I think sort of thinking about it in terms of where do you acquire talent, how do you retain talent, how do you advance talent, and think about what are the initiatives you might need to do under those 3 elements of sort of your talent life cycle. I think that would be a good way to get started.
It sounds to me almost like an inclusive workplace would be one where people aren't talking about inclusion anymore, where it's just kind of baked into the organization's DNA. Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
absolutely. I mean, I think when we know we're successful is we won't need to talk about this anymore. People truly will believe, hey, I'm in this organization, I'm valued for who I am, I know I have every opportunity to be successful if I bring the right skills and capabilities to the table. That's, I think, the dream of what we hope, the vision of I know what we hope our workplace can be. I still think we all have some more work to do, and so until we get to that place, we probably all still need to keep talking about it.